guys, my name's Yasmina, and for those of you who don't know me, I run the Instagram page miss.yasmina. Now today I thought I'd share with you guys my long-awaited labour story. So I am a first-time mum. I'm only 21 years old, turning 22 in about 3 weeks. I have a 7-month-old daughter, and yeah, I thought I would share with you guys my labour story because I feel like when I was pregnant, I was always searching about like people's experiences, what everybody went through, you know, any advice, anything that could shed light onto this whole labor. And like I literally didn't know what to expect. I didn't even know what to do, what the process was. I went to a birthing class and I still understood nothing. So here goes. So my labor started at 7 a.m. I think it was 8 a.m. I'm lying. 8 a.m. on a Saturday. So I was sitting on the corner of my bed and all of a sudden I felt like this pop, and it was so weird because it was like a little trickle amount of water. So I don't know, for those of you who have been pregnant or are pregnant, you would know that you pee yourself quite a bit, so I thought nothing of it. Anyway, that day I visited my mum and she was like, maybe you should go to the hospital, that sounds like your water's broken. And at this point I was 39 weeks and 4 days, and literally anything everybody could tell me was, don't expect to go into labor early, you know, you're a first-time mum. Actually, I wasn't even 39 weeks and 4 days. That was when I gave birth. I was 39 weeks and 2 days. So I really didn't get my hopes up. I called the hospital and I told them what had happened and that there was a bit of trickle of water on my pad. Anyway, she said, come in, we'll just double check. It's not, like, just better safe than sorry at this point. And I was like, okay. So we went in and we were put into like this waiting area. Now, let me tell you what went down. So in this waiting area, we get there and she's like, okay, so we're just going to do an internal test. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so scared, like, please. And she's like, you're about to give birth, like, anytime soon, within, whether it's now or whether it's in the coming weeks, like, you need to toughen up. And I was like, ha. So she's like, it's okay, I'll just do a swab. She did a swab, it was painless. She took ages to come back, and I heard like a lady next to me, and the whole time all you can hear is, ah. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna die. So literally nothing helped. Sunday night came, went to sleep as if nothing was happening. I woke up at like 4 a.m. with like mild contractions, and for a first-time mum, like, explaining it to you, I would describe it as literally like, do you know when you're trying to tense to pretend like you have abs and you're like that? That's what it felt like. It was like a tightening feeling, and it was very mild. Like, I was able to literally start getting up, and I was straightening my hair at like 4 a.m. I was like getting ready to go into labor, and it was the very beginning. I'd called my mum and I said, look, well, we have to be at the hospital in 3 hours anyway. Let's get ready. So she came over, she made breakfast. This is us at like 5 a.m. We're like watching Friends, you know, the episode where Rachel gives birth. It was just so funny. We were sitting there, I was so nervous. I was contracting every maybe 10 minutes. And then it got to like 5 minutes, and then it like went backwards and I like skipped contractions. Anyway, we get to the hospital and we give in the paper and we wait, and they take us into this room. Now this room is like full of different couples, and they're all waiting to get induced, either induced or go into like waiting for a theatre to go into C-section, have a planned C-section. So we all have our bags, we're all eager, but I was the only one having contractions. So I was there with like mild contractions, and like I had a heat pack with me, and I was just putting it on my stomach and I was going, but it wasn't big. It was very light contractions. Like, it was enough to be bearable, but I was so super nervous. Like, I was thinking, like, what do I expect? Like, what is coming? Like, what is it? Like, what is an induction? Like, who's gonna take me where? Now, at this stage, we went there at 7 a.m. It was 1 p.m. and we still had gotten nowhere. And they had come up to me and they were just like, you know, I'm so sorry. We've literally had so many people come in to like give birth. Like, it's just been a busy time. And I'm like, oh, that's okay, because when you're getting induced, there has to be a midwife with you 24/7. Like, she literally has to stay with you until you give birth. So we need to allocate a midwife to you. And in order to do that, everybody else needs to have their baby. So we were just waiting. Came about 2 o'clock. A midwife had come and collected us. We were the first people to get a room. It was great. I was so scared. I was like, oh God. And I'm walking down the hallway and I'm going, oh, I'm gonna give birth. Oh my God, like what's to expect? We get inside this room and we wait there, and she goes, it shouldn't be too long from now. I'm so sorry about the wait. She goes, if you need to, you know, get comfortable. I like didn't know what to do, so I like tied my hair back and I was like sitting in bed. I was literally in like trackies and a jacket and a t-shirt, and I was like sitting there comfortable. I was eating some noodles and like just on my phone chilling, and I had like let no one know I was going into labor, like they were going to induce me. I just kept it on the down low. Waited. About a few hours later, a doctor came to check me out, and she goes, okay, I'm just going to check if your water is actually fully broken. If it's not, I'm going to break it for you. And I was like, what? Like, how are you going to do that? And she like didn't tell me much. She goes, I'm just going to break it myself. It won't be painful. You'll be okay. I was shitting it. When I tell you I was shitting it, I was like, and she gave me like a gown to put on, and I took off all my clothes and I put on this gown, and I had no underwear, no bra, no nothing. And I was like, oh, this is getting so real. And she like, I don't know what she did, but she like checked how many centimeters dilated I was and was checking my water, and she ripped it open. All I felt, literally no pain, all I felt was like someone had thrown water all over me, and I was like, oh my God, like this is so scary. There was water everywhere. It just felt warm water. It felt like 4 liters of water had fallen onto me, and I was like, oh, this is so scary. And I started crying and I was shaking, and like I remember my husband and my mum just looking at me like, are you okay? Are you okay? And doctor said, I'm so sorry, did I hurt you? And I was like, no. I was like, I'm just so scared, like that didn't hurt at all. I'm literally just terrified. And she's like, that's okay, like it's completely understandable, like I can get it, you know, your nerves are getting in your way. And she's like, you know, just properly ripped your water, so when we induce you, you know, it gets it going, blah blah blah. Anyway, about an hour later, a midwife came in and she goes, okay, we're going to start the process. So she like put in a cannula, I think it's called, and it's where they put in that little needle thing, and it's so like fluids and that can get through. I think there was one here and there was one here, or maybe it was just here. Anyway, she had put it in and I was just waiting, and I said to her, so before you put it in, I just want to know how long between now, and this was at like 6 o'clock. Yeah, this is exactly 6 o'clock. And I go, how long between now and until I have my baby in my hands, basically? Like, what's the average? I just wanted to know how long I was going to be here for. I didn't ask about the pain. I just said, how long was I going to be here for? She goes, well, my shift finishes at 10. So, and I'm back at 7 o'clock. So I'll probably like tomorrow midday, you should have it by then. She goes, the average is about 12 hours. Some people go to 24, but we'll hope for 12 hours. I said, okay, fair enough. And I'm like looking at the clock and it was 6, and I'm like, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm going to be in pain for this long. And I was like prepping my husband how I wanted an epidural if it got too painful. Anyway, she like put in the induction thing like through the tube. I felt nothing. It was normal. First she put in, antibiotics, and then she put that in. And literally like this, I started to feel crazy amounts of pain, like contraction after contraction. And it was like out of nowhere, like someone punched me in the gut. And I was like, what the hell's going on? And I like laid down, and I know all I've heard is like, you should move around during birth, move around during birth. I literally could not move. I was laying in bed and I was like, and I was silent, and I'm going, oh, it's here. My mom's like, okay, yep, she's contracting. And then the midwife was like, that's great, like this is so good, like she's contracting straight away. Usually people take some time, you know, whatever. Started contracting. For 2 hours I was contracting, and they got so close together, it was almost like I didn't get a break. I was contracting, and then I was like would stop for a second, be able to catch my breath, and then contract again. And at this point, like I was like, oh my God, I need to be checked out. And I told her to check me out. No, I looked at my mom and I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, the baby's coming. Anyway, she told the midwife, and the midwife was like, honey, you're not ready yet, like, you know, let's be real kind of thing. And I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. An hour after that, so that was at 8 o'clock. An hour after that, come 9, I was like going purple with every contraction. Like literally my body was physically pushing the baby out. Like it felt like, this is really gross and a really disgusting comparison, but it's like, do you know when you finally let a poo out? It was like that, but the body was doing that feeling on its own. And I was like, what the hell's going on? I was like, Mum, I'm literally not pushing, but the baby's coming. And she's like, okay. And she like grabbed the doctor. She like grabbed the nurse and she's like, you go get a doctor. Like, my daughter's giving birth. I don't know, if you can't see that, then go get someone who will. Doctor come in. She like opened up the gown, didn't even touch me. She's like, okay, you're ready to give birth. At this point, the whole room was dark. So throughout the whole labor, the room was dark. They had closed the blinds. She just put soothing music on. And she just brought out a torch. And she's like, okay, honey, you're ready to give birth. And I was like, so what now? And she goes, okay, so the way you're supposed to push, and I had no idea there was a way of pushing, but you're supposed to apparently like breathe in and like put your like chin down and then push. And I was like, okay. And the first time I didn't get it, I think I went like something like a shit. And I was like, okay, yep, I'm really like not doing this. And like nothing had happened. And I was like, oh my God. Literally within the second push, no baby didn't come out. Within the second push, I had like 4 different doctors come in and like midwives in the room. Like the light went on, and all I know is right in front of me was some Asian man, and he's like, and he looked like someone who was really important. And he's like, okay, Yasmina, you need to concentrate. Unfortunately, your baby's heart rate has decreased extremely low. Your baby was ready to come out a while ago, and unfortunately we weren't able to, know that. So this is going to have to be an assisted birth. At this point, my mum literally fainted. Like, she went like this. And I had no idea at the time. I was just concentrating on my birth. But she had her head down. I'm like, this bitch not even supporting me. Like, what the hell? Anyway, my husband's literally tearing up. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, does this mean I'm having a cesarean? And I didn't say anything. I was just looking at him like this. And I'm holding my mum's hand and my husband's hand. I'm going, and contraction is going, and he's going, okay, you need to listen to me. And he was like getting upset, like getting seriously angry. And he's like, this is going to be an assisted birth, so I'm going to pull while you push, I'm going to pull. So at this point, I didn't know he meant he's going to attach a vacuum and vacuum the baby out. I had no idea. All I know is he stuck his hands in and like was trying to put obviously the thing on the baby. And it was the most painful thing ever. And he's going, with the next contraction, you're going to push. And I'm going, I don't even know when my contractions are because everything's just so painful. And I'm looking at the midwife and I'm going, I don't know when my contractions are coming. And she goes, okay, well, I'm going to put my hand on your stomach because when you contract, apparently, your actual belly goes hard. So she had her hand on my belly and she's going, she's contracting. And I literally pushed and the head come out. And the whole entire room was going, whoa, yay, the head's out, yay. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Like, get it out. And my husband's like, oh my God, like he's just looking, and he goes, the doctor goes, does anybody want to have a look? And I'm going, like, get the baby out. My mum's still passed out. My husband's like, yes. And I'm looking at him like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, he's the type of person to vomit at a movie. You know Shallows, the movie? He like saw a shark, bite someone and he like vomited. So I was like, what is he doing? He's not even going to be able to support me. He's going to faint. He saw it, and apparently like the midwives told me afterwards, because it was the most beautiful reaction. He like literally cried his eyes out and then came back and like kissed my forehead and was holding my hand through it. And then the next push, she had come out and he got her out. And like next thing I knew, she was on my chest and literally I could not feel an ounce of pain. Like they had cut me to get that thing in, and I didn't know this until later on because everything was just so painful that I had no idea. But he literally like got her out and put her on me, and she was crying. My daughter was crying, and I literally was just like, oh my God, this is the most beautiful moment on earth. Like, telling you this now, like I literally feel emotional, but her being on your chest, like the baby, just, it's like all of it was so worth it. Like that whole process was so incredibly beautiful and so empowering. Like I felt like I was so in charge of my body, and I didn't even, I didn't have an epidural and I didn't have a gas, and I was just so proud of myself for doing that, because I went in thinking, I'm gonna need an assisted birth for sure. I'm just such a weak person. I cry with blood tests, but going in, and I was so ready to face this with everything I had. And the fact that I'm able to look back and think, I would do it all over again. I would do it, and I would gladly do it. I found it the most beautiful experience of my life. And, not just having her on me, and sure, it was painful and it was full on, but birthing your child, there's nothing like it. You literally feel like you're on top of the world. Like I can guarantee you literally feel like Superwoman afterwards. and like a lot of people were asking me like, you know, I'm really scared, like my labor's coming up, and I wish I could have went back in time and said to myself, don't be scared. You're going to be okay. Your body is literally made for it. I didn't know a thing about birth. I didn't know when to push. I had no idea, you know, what to do, what the process was, what was I supposed to feel, and yet I did it. And you know what? If I can do it, someone who's so scared of literally taking my blood, like I went for the glucose test and I was like, oh no, and I was like, she hurt me, I hate that lady. Like I was literally sooking. And the fact that I can do it, I know that anybody can. And I just want to put this video out there to be one that's a positive one, not a negative one, not one that scares women into labor, not one that scares you into thinking, you know, you can't handle it. I want this to be a positive one, which makes you think that, you know, you can do it and you are capable of anything, and that just trust your body. Don't worry about what people say. You know, a lot of people gave me so many advice and gave me so many things that they said to me, you know, like there were so many things that I remember thinking like, how am I supposed to get done? Like people were like, get into the water, it'll help. And I'm sure it helps heaps of people, but I couldn't move. Like I literally was in bed like this the whole entire time. And so just trust your body and go with it, because I did that and I had a 3-hour labor. Literally 9 o'clock I gave birth, and mind you, they even said to me, you were ready to give birth at 2 hours. So, and they stopped the what is it called, the induction after I fully went into labor. They literally stopped it. They said, we just needed you to kind of whiff it, kind of thing. So I was like, okay, yep, great. You know, it's good that I was able to do that. Not only it's had nothing to do with the short amount of time, it had more to do that I went out of it feeling positive. I left feeling so empowered. I literally wanted to scream to the world, like, I own this. Like, I did this. Like, I did it. Like, I literally, have you seen those Instagram photos of those mums that are like this and they have their baby in their hand, or like, you know, cords everywhere? Like, I felt that. And so I just want you all to know that, you know, if you're a mum, good on you. You're a freaking superwoman. Or if you're a soon-to-be mum, don't be scared. It's going to be okay. You're going to be fine. And yeah, that's my birth story. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I'm sorry it took so long. I know my daughter's now 7 months. That was totally delayed. But I'm glad I got it over and done with. Enjoy.